Guide Us TV, watched by many, loved by all. New Muslims, young Muslims, born Muslims, non-Muslims, all enjoy it. Guide Us TV, never ads, always free. Let's keep it free, no ads. Support and share, and get guided with Guide Us TV.
A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way.
And we're coming to you almost live from our studios right here in Southern California. In our program tonight, we have our doctors because this is Talk About It, and we're going to be talking about some of the things that Islam says about medicine and so on. So to help us with that, let me first introduce, we have Dr. Adel in Tampa, Florida. Assalamu alaikum, doctor.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. And let's bring out Dr. Sultan. Salam alaikum, doctor.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay. Doctor, if you don't mind, we'd like to see your face. And in order to do that, you remember we have always have the numbers, the phone numbers up on the screen. So that's why I pushed my camera way back from me so that I could do, I look very small, but at least I'm all there in the picture, you know what I mean?
Sheikh, I bought a tripod with the light, so I hope you see some difference.
Okay, all right, let's have a look at that. Let me see how you look. Oh, we can see your face. It doesn't look like a black shadow anymore. Yeah, all right. And one of the things that I kind of improved on just recently was when I put my hands out, they would go past our lights here. And so when I do that, the hands get dark. But then I said, wait a minute. So I wanted to work on that a little bit. That's one of the things that we're doing, trying to get straightened out is the lighting and the sound. And, we've only been doing this for, almost 2 years now. So, we're still learning. All of us, mashallah. Anyway.
Technological field is such that we are always learning. Even, although for 100 years or whatever, or less than that, the airplane is made. We have never made the best airplane yet. We're still improving on it. Okay, you know why? Why I said that we've never made the best plane, because they still keep falling. Okay, so we always have the time to improve. So over 2 years of is just a small fraction of trying to improve things.
There you go. Well, I've got a lot more than 2 years. I don't have 100 years yet, but I'm always learning something new every day and having to work on it. Actually, I found a way to put both of you up on the air with us right now, so I think we're good to go. So we got all the technical stuff out of the way. Dr. Adel, you posted something today, and it just went up today. So our supervisor here, the general manager, he said that this is what maybe you wanted to talk about. So, do you know what it is?
Okay, I have a couple of things. While he's working on it, just bring us some updates. One on coronavirus. I'm specifically referring to the Delta variant that's becoming more accelerated in terms of its spread to more cities, and it's probably going to be dominant by the end of the month variant here in the U.S. It's more transmissible, more infectious, and it looks like there's one report that I came across today that the Pfizer vaccine is not as efficacious against the Delta variant like the 96% efficacy rate with the traditional or the original coronavirus. So there's challenges in that, and there's also other challenges have to do with what we're going to do with the long-term side effects. Now we have from coronavirus, the chest pain, the long haulers, and the fatigue, the cloudy, mental ability to really concentrate, and also the mental aspects of the fear, the anxiety, and the stress that comes along with it. When it comes to the heart, there is a special entity have to do what's called myocarditis. And that's getting more and more interest of publications and more coverage, which basically inflammation of the heart muscle itself from the virus. And it seems to be more now related to the COVID vaccination. And there's more reporting about how this is being confirmed. It is done by a very fancy test called MRI, which is like a fancy CAT scan, but a different technology. But it shows the myocarditis, which is inflammation of the heart muscle. Remember, it will show sometimes on the blood test as elevated what's called troponin, which is the heart muscle enzyme that would lead to tell us that there is heart muscle injury. Most of the cases for the troponin release, like 90% due to heart attack, but 10% due to inflammation like this one. So a lot of people are, getting confused about that, sometimes getting unnecessary procedures like cardiac catheterization and so on because of this elevated troponin. And I think I mentioned that, but it's becoming more evident. Now it's related not only the virus affecting the heart muscle, but also as a side effect of the COVID vaccine. Now, I tell people like, Doc, I took the first dose and I had some side effects. Can I skip the second dose? This is an individualized decision that has to be discussed in details with the main doctor, and then if the evidence is basically points to more harm than good, then probably we'll hold off on the second dose. And if there's mild side effects after evaluation, doing the testing and so on, then maybe we'll proceed with caution. But it's something that cannot be brushed off. It's something that cannot be ignored. It's something we have to be aware of, among all the other things that I mentioned about the long haulers affects both physically, mentally, and now even would affect the heart muscle. Nobody knows for how long, but it certainly is a cause for concern.
Okay, I think that the bottom line that you're telling us is that this Delta strain of the COVID virus is a real serious issue, and it's not something we need to be playing around with.
Absolutely. Still continue to keep the mask, keep the social distance, keep the hygiene. I think this stuff will be a lifelong for the hygiene and for basically enhanced sanitation. That will be a lifelong. For now till further notice, the masks have to be kept on. I tell that for people as we approaching Eid al-Adha, for our brothers and sisters of Muslim faith around the globe. Happy Eid for everyone, inshallah, in advance. But be aware of the fact that there's a new Delta virus that's very contagious. and we have to continue to take our measures, especially if it's going to be a closed-in event with more than 15 minutes. If you would contact, then the transmissibility of the virus is always there, and be aware if somebody has immune disease, probably should not be there. If somebody has chronic disease, should not be there for their own health, and not to transmit to others. And for those who are healthy, please put the mask on. Now there's something else along with the myocarditis that I said, that young people, they have a new phenomenon called the stress eat. The couples with the pandemic, because people are sitting home, everything is delivered automatically, non-contact, and they just sit and eat. And they eat here, eat more stress, they eat more. So there's no now additional diseases, obesity related. And obesity is one of the causes for actually to have people be affected by coronavirus. It's affected diabetics, immune depressed, African Americans. Those are the people we know that there are very high risk to contract, COVID. So this is, if you would, new customers potentially could be enhanced that, and those who are on chronic steroid therapy. All these are red flags that has to be addressed and cannot be, brushed off. We just hopefully in this program tell everyone, you gotta take care of your immune system. You gotta eat healthy. You gotta stay away from bad habits. You gotta stay away from contaminated, food, drink, and water and air, and sleep good, and stay away from toxins, vaping, smoking, marijuana. All these things, and spiritual wellness. All these things will enhance the immune system to be able to fight coronavirus, Delta virus, whatever is coming down the pipe.
All right. Well, I think that we got an earful on that. I want to know, though, how serious is this with regard to our children? Like, if we have kids and they're going to school and so on. I know we're in the summer, alhamdulillah for that, but some of the kids are going to summer school. What about that?
I think caution has to be not to be lifted, and no matter what, and no matter what age. Initially, they thought the kids less than the elementary school, not to the middle or high school, because they're just like adults risk. Those kids are okay because they're little, and but now the coronavirus is everywhere. Everybody is potentially could be affected, and if there is on top of that an autoimmune or immune deficiency syndrome, that will really add more fuel to the fire when it comes to infection. I don't know if Dr. Sultan want to add.
Yeah, there's one, we were talking about a healthy diet. There's one very simple thing anyone can do to improve the immune status. All the way talked about so many things to do, but one very simple thing, and that is, if you cut down sugar, you are significantly improving your immunity. They have shown that white blood cell capability of fighting infection is reduced if you eat sugar. Just getting off the sugar, you can just improve the immune system. So when we get off sugar, we are not just meaning off sugar, but also get off sugar in hidden sources. For example, sugar present in salad dressing, sugar present in ketchup, sugar present in mustard and other condiments, and so on and so forth, and bakery products, sugar in bread. So think about all the sources of sugar they are, and you improve them, and you get it out of it, you can significantly improve the immune system. And the healthy thing we always talk about is fresh meats, fruits, vegetables, green beans. Anything additive, preservative, you should try to avoid. So these are simple, common sense things to do. When I look on my childhood, how we were raised, fortunately, number one, technology was not that advanced. I'm talking about in 40s.
Wait a
and
minute.
50s,
You said
where in
fortunately it
Pakistan-
wasn't advanced. You were just talking about airplanes, man. Come on, what's going on here?
Now, you probably refer to the social media kind
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know.
There were no pesticides, there's nothing, Everything we ate was organic, fresh from the field. Go in the morning to the market, get the fresh food, cook it right there and then. It was fully ripe. You don't have to wait for example, fruits sit down for 3-4 days or a week for it to get ripened to be able to eat, because it's just
Oh,
off
you
the
just
trees,
reminded me. Yeah, you just reminded me. I got some green bananas, and we were waiting for them to get ripe. And so today, without thinking, I said, "No, I can eat a green banana," and I cut it. And I like to cut the ends off before I start peeling it. So I cut it off, and then the little part of the end that I like to pop it out and eat it. So I don't waste anything. Well, when I did, it felt like I put glue in my mouth. I couldn't open my lips up, and I didn't know there was something called banana glue. Did you?
That's a new one.
Yeah.
No, seriously. I mean, it really, my fingers, I couldn't get my fingers unstuck. It was weird. I think I invented banana glue.
But
Well, they have
effect was
Gorilla Glue. I think that's only fitting that the gorilla is not the one that has the glue. He probably got it from a banana, right?
One thing I'm glad, its effect didn't last too long.
Well, all right. Yeah, I guess. Anyway, go ahead, doctor. You were talking
Okay.
then.
So I was talking about, in my childhood, 40s and 50s, we'll go to the fields, get the fresh vegetables, fully ripe, you just cook it right there and then go to the market, get the fresh meat, which was butchered about 3-4 hours before that, So those were the days of fresh meats, fruits, and vegetables, and how nicely people's health was. And now you look in the United States, look around how many sick people you have. The main problem with that is, heard the phrase, food is like medicine. In truth, food is medicine. Healthy food is medicine. It helps you treat many problems, especially Dr. Adil's field, cardiovascular disease, off sugar, off bread, pasta, those carbs and potatoes and stuff like that, and fresh meats and vegetables, herbs, spices. Those are the things that improve the cardiovascular disease. It will improve hypertension. It will improve coronary. It will improve congestive heart failure, and so on and so forth. So food is really medicine. So on our show, we talked about the importance of healthy food. It's just not just verbally saying, sounds good, say, but we offer practical ways to think how you think healthy. Don't think in terms of hamburger, pies, and fries. Just think fresh meats, fruits, and vegetables, and that should be the basis. The food that will improve your immunity to a great degree. Besides so many other things that we all talk about. I don't want to take the whole session, but today just give the one part of our environment, food, that how important it is in helping building our immunity.
And I'm going to add to Dr. Sultan. I had this article that, be careful. Healthy foods aren't as healthy as you think. So we still use it, and it relates to some items. I'm sure Dr. Sultan can relate to flavored and low-fat yogurt. I'm just going to go through them and how it is, although it's, the contents are not where it's supposed to be in the healthy range. it's got much more sugar in it than it should, and so on. And it relates to the 2020 to 2025 dietary guidelines by the American, nutrition, guidelines. That it says, for the sugar.
We have a phone
Go ahead.
call. It's exciting. Oh, answer the phone. Answer the phone. We have a phone call.
All right. I'm trying to answer it.
H. Yusuf, you have a caller.
Okay.
To
Yes. Salam alaikum. MashaAllah. Who is this and where are you calling from?
My name is Abdul Mahdi and I'm calling from the Bronx, New York.
Bronx, New York. MashaAllah. What question do you have for the doctors tonight?
I actually have a question like if shrimp is halal and if it's halal, why it is makruh?
Okay. Halal, makruh, and haram for what?
Shrimp.
Shrimp?
It's okay.
Yes.
Actually, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, I'd like to mention something about this topic. In the Bible, it's very much forbidden. It's very much forbidden in the Old Testament for the Bible, for the people that follow the Bible. And it says it real clear in the Old Testament. The New Testament says that Jesus says he's not going to change the law. So a Christian should be following the Ten Commandments and the commandments of the Old Testament. But for us as Muslims, now we've been told clearly in the Quran that anything that's in the sea, in the waters, that we can eat it. Now that's what we have. However, some Muslim groups do not eat the shrimp. They do not eat the lobsters. They do not eat the oysters and the clams. And I don't know why they don't do that, but there are some groups. The vast majority, over 80% of all the Muslims in the world, maybe 85%, absolutely will say that anything from the sea is okay to eat, even if somebody else catches it, it's not a Muslim. Okay? Does that help you?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling me, okay?
There is something I like to add to it,
All
from
right.
the medical point of view.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Well, Dr. Sultan has got something he wants to tell you, okay? Dr. Sultan, if you don't mind, go
You
ahead.
see, okay, yes. Shrimp, it is a scavenger. Just like pig is a scavenger, so shrimp is a scavenger of all the dead and dying material from the sea. So that is why I think some groups call it makruh, because it doesn't eat the clean food. It's just dead and decaying material it is. So that wallah alam. But that's what my understanding is.
Okay. There we have it. MashaAllah. So the reason for some of them to avoid it is because they eat, the shrimp actually eat all of the dead stuff like a vulture. And we don't eat vultures, so I guess. But again, the Quran tells us that and I think Allah knows what's in the water, right? I'm sure He does.
Exactly.
So I don't know. Anyway, go ahead. Back to you, Doctor. You were talking about the sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
Dr. Adil, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So in 2020 to 2025, the dietary American guidelines recommends that for the added sugar should be less than 10% of the total calories, which I think should be eliminated altogether, because of the evidence that's overwhelming, not just only for the regular sugar but also for the sugar substitutes. And I think last week we discussed that it clearly. All the sweet and long mustard and quote unquote sugar substitutes, they are also lead to obesity, all lead to elevated blood sugar, all lead to cancers and carcinogens, especially with materials like aspartame and others. So now we are looking into how come there's a huge discrepancy what we're supposed to be eating and what's supposed to be on the label that's not translating to a healthy diet. And we mentioned about the artificial sweeteners, and then comes to fruit juice. Fruit juice have a lot of sugar added to it, and we know that quite a few people, when they drink too much of that, they actually become diabetic because of the high sugar content that they ingest and they don't know in the fruit juice. The vegetable chips and the veggie puffs, similarly, they have high amount of calories per gram for these veggie puffs. They're not the healthy snack items that are supposed to be.
Is there something called veggie puffs?
Yes, veggie puffs, Puffs. They're primarily made of refined grains like corn, flour, soy flour, and rice. So the vegetables listed, they're very usually powdered, which basically means most of the vitamins and the minerals have lost during the processing of this food. I know we're going back like what we're supposed to be cooks or what, but everything in health is related to what you ingest, of what you put into your mouth and into your body. Low-fat peanut butter. I know a lot of people, may look into this. Peanut butter is a kind of a lot of people love it, especially with the sandwich, especially early in the morning. I know one of my daughters loved it so much. Now I have to buy this low-calorie, peanut butter. Because there is a lot of added ingredients, again, like corn syrup, sugar, soy proteins, and even synthetic fats, which could be also elevating the triglycerides and sugar. So the natural peanut butter typically contains about 2 grams of sugar per serving. However, quote-unquote low-fat, peanut butter, it has about 4 grams of sugar per serving. So it's the opposite.
Whoa, wait. I got to ask a question now. You're saying that the low-fat has more sugar.
That's what this article specifically going through and kind of evaluating every item and why it is wrong data and how we could be educating the consumers about what they're ingesting. It's not what it's supposed to be. And the last item is granola. Granola is basically becoming synonymous for coming like being promoted as healthy food, but there's a lot of carbs in granola. There's a good source of energy, particularly for active, people working, physically. But there are so much sugar in there. It contains as high as 13 grams of sugar per serving. So.
Wait. Come on, man. I love
which is
this
roughly
stuff.
about 27% of your daily recommended intake of sugar. So, that's, prepared salads, again, prepared salads, the typical salad of chicken, for instance, contains 550 calories and 43 grams of protein. But it may be, a feature of 33 grams of fat, 51% of your daily intake in this salad. And then a lot of sodium, which would elevate the blood pressure more than when you should, and also high amount of cholesterol, 290 milligrams of cholesterol, which is 97% of your daily recommended intake. So if we just, a few items that I mentioned in this article.
Let me ask. I got a question for you, Doctor. Just off the top of my head, I'd like to get this. There's something called keto, Keto, and they have it packaged up, and I just had some just before we went on the air. I had some a little while ago, and I like this. It doesn't have much flavor to it, but it's kind of nice, and it says on there that it's only low grams and etc. etc. But now you got me worried. Does it have sugar in it?
I don't know. I have to search it. What what I wanted to say is that there is a lot of eye opener right now when it comes to things that we either took for granted or just take it and we think it's what is being promoted as healthy, but it doesn't. It's not in reality.
Definitely, I really want to check it out, doctor, because this really bothers me that something that I just ate these just before we come on the show, and now you're telling me that it might be.
Inshallah, now that we brought this to attention of so many people, think about what you're eating, find out exactly what you're eating, if it's healthy or not. Now, Dr. Sultan has been emphasized on refined sugar. And the president of, I think, Egyptian Cardiology Society said that if you want to do anything in life that will impact on your diseases, and disease, I mean, not just heart disease, but cancer, chronic diseases in general, that will be taken off the refined sugar and the high carbohydrate content in your diet. So it's something that we have to eat, but then you got to know what it is, and only what I'm trying to say in this article, because I found it very illuminating and very kind of eye opener to what we should be looking at and should be what we should be avoiding, especially when we read the label and find about the high content of sugar. Now that we know what
says, I'm reading the label right now, and it says that it's 1 gram of carb, 1 gram for each one of these little wafers or whatever it is on there. I don't know, but is that okay for something like that?
Well,
go ahead, Dr. Sal.
Let me interject, okay? This is one of the biggest fraud in healthcare industry or food industry is carb by the this much carb, that much carb. Well, the point is, where is the carb coming from? Even if there's 1 gram in 100 grams of food, 1 gram of carb, if it's come from sugar, then there is a bad carb, okay? There are good carbs and bad carbs, you see. But the label just lists as so many carbs. So I give you an example, okay? Peach is a complete food. I mean, it's a nice food, okay? Now you take the peach, you eat it, you did a good job, okay? On the other hand, if you added 1 gram of sugar to a peach, you have converted a good food into a junk food, you see? Okay, so now every food has carbs in it. There are some foods which are high in carb, like sugar, honey, maple syrup, and also foods like potatoes, sweet potato, and stuff like that. And then there are above ground vegetables, they have some carbs in them. Those carbs are in small quantities, and since they are present in the vegetable above ground vegetables, they are very slowly released in the gut. So they don't give you a high up sugar and then low sugar, because when your sugar goes up high, your pancreas puts out insulin to bring the sugar down. So you don't get that highs and lows. So food industry doesn't say where the carb is coming. So this is your, number one, this is your responsibility to see where the carbs are coming from. Number two, let me give you a practical example, because I like to give practical solutions. If you, Dr. Adila beautifully explained that what the food industry has done to our food. Because if you try to read labels, you should, try to read labels, it will drive you crazy. So the simplest thing, I never read labels. You know why? Because I don't have to. I get fresh meats, fruits, vegetables, and I cook them, home from scratch. So I don't have to read the labels. But if I do, end up in a situation where I got to buy something, then I will read the label. So one thing to understand is that you see what food industry has done. I was reading an article by a food advertiser. He said food industry has put sugar, salt, and fat in practically every food because these are the three very addicting foods. And in that process, they have made fat profits, making people fat, and they're making fat profits. So therefore, you have to think not in terms of hamburgers, pies, and fries, and peanut butter and other things. You have to think in terms of that. Is it fresh off the market? I mean, it's fresh and no additive, no preservative, nothing is added. That is the way. Now I give you an example. Is whole milk good or is skim milk good? Well, it has been portrayed. Oh yes, the fat in the milk causes a heart problem. So we should have skim milk. Well, let me tell you, when you have skim milk has sugar in it. You see, so fat in milk slows the absorption of sugar. So when you take make the skim milk, the sugar gets absorbed much faster. So it gives you highs and lows and causes insulin resistance, which gives you heart attack and hypertension and stroke and so on, so diabetes and so on and so forth. You see, so you have to see that how.
Wait, you said you can get a heart attack from drinking milk?
But that's part of the insulin resistance.
Cumulative.
Drinking milk will not cause a heart attack, but too much milk, skim milk, too much sugar in the milk, that will lead to insulin resistance, which can cause obesity and high blood. The acronym for to understand the effects of sugar on our body is very simple. Acronym CHAOS, like a Chinese, right? On CHAOS: coronary artery disease, hypertension, adult onset diabetes, obesity, and stroke. This is all part and parcel of too many carbs, no matter where they are coming from. Vegetables above ground, they have so little carbs, they come out so slowly in digestion process that they have practically no adverse effect on your blood sugar. And as a matter of fact, if you have diabetes or if you're overweight, that's the kind of carb that you need in above ground vegetables, which helps you lose weight. You see, so this is what I'm talking about. That talking about healthy, and see how the industry portrays a food to be healthy, says it has low carb, but doesn't tell you that they put the sugar in peanut butter to make it sweet and put a little bit. No, peanut butter itself is a good food. That's perfectly fine. But when you add sugar to it and say it's low carb in here, so little carb, but that has converted a good food into a junk food. You see.
Well, this is what the whole purpose is. There'll be an eye opener and educational material to be shared with the audience who are watching and listening to really benefit them, because most of the diseases are preventable if we, basically take care of our bodies and have nutrition as a source of energy and strength and health, rather than illness and weakness and then added infections and so on. So today in this article, we basically the flavored low-fat yogurt. We covered that, as well as fruit juice. We have the vegetable chips and veggie puffs, the low-fat peanut butter, and granola. So and prepared salads. We just have to be aware of these issues and be careful of watching and reading the label of what we eat, because that will impact our health. So that's the whole idea. And the more people can actually call in if they have any questions regarding to COVID or non-COVID items, 973-4383.
971, yeah.
971-4383.
All right, we got to take a break right now, doctors. Just excuse me while we do this, and then we'll be right back right after this. So everybody stay tuned and stay guided with
Guide Us TV.
Guide Us TV, watched by many, loved by all. New Muslims, young Muslims, born Muslims, non-Muslims, all enjoy it. Guide Us TV, never ads, always free. Let's keep it free, no ads. Support and share, and get guided with Guide Us TV. We are back, and we've been talking here about some of the things that we can do to improve our health. But before I get into anything new, I just wanted to come back and look at the peanut butter again, because I mean, PB? Everybody's, I don't know about everybody, but oh man. And I have one right here. It says that it's made in Australia since, well, let me put it up so everybody can see it. It says made in Australia since 1898. That's over a few weeks ago, yeah? And it says no added sugar or salt. No added sugar or salt. Now I'm going to come back to the doctors. Talk to me about this.
Yeah, see, this is nice. If somebody really put this in there, like when we go, for instance, like mouthwash, alcohol-free mouthwash. If somebody put gelatin, no pork in it. All these things is becoming really, critical for not only the health aspect, but also for credibility. We know now if somebody puts these, sugar or mixed with sugar or salt, they're actually going to do harm, to consumers. And if we educate people, maybe we can help. We're not talking about, this stuff affects hundreds of millions and billions around the globe, because everybody has to eat to stay alive. But if you do eat, then, as the Quran, God Almighty stated, halalan tayyiban. Halal meaning, you do it in a clean, wholesome, pork-free manner with certain prayers in, but also has to be healthy. Healthy doesn't have this added sugar, doesn't have the preservative, doesn't have the hormones, doesn't have the antibiotics, doesn't have the toxin, doesn't have, and then just people eat it and drink it to really gain health and prevent disease. That's the whole purpose. So if we can impact this one life or two lives, and save it that way, maybe that save the whole entire humanity. And by the way, healthy food does not have to be expensive. That's, and if we, go back to the Quran, again, the words of God, what happened when people said, if you want some food, go to Egypt, you'll have lentils and beans and garlic and onions. All these are very, cheap, very rich sources of minerals and vitamins and protein, and it's not animal protein. It's non-animal protein. And Allah Subhanahu wa Taala told us when it comes to animals, only certain animals are allowed to sacrifice and be allowed. And by the way, we're approaching in 2.5 weeks Eid al-Adha. Where all Muslims, those who can, able to afford to sacrifice an animal to get the pleasure of Allah and to basically affirm the faith and have replicated the same event that our common father, Prophet Abraham, was about to sacrifice his son because Allah has ordered him to do so. And being a Muslim and a subservient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and obedient to Allah, he was doing this with his own son. And Ismail, his own son, he said, Daddy, do what you are told. Ya abati if'al ma tu'mar. You will find me, sataduni inshallah min as-sabirin. You will find me among those who are patient, those who are accepting the test of Allah. And the moment of truth came when he turned his face to the right, and then about the moment that came, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has replaced, Ismail with as this ram came, and since then we, kind of, it's a very symbolic to the fact that we sacrifice ourselves and then with whatever we have to get the pleasure and seek the pleasure of God Almighty. And part of this is doing the truth and conveying the truth in the way that what people should eat and what should drink, because we really have a serious systemic problem around the globe, not just in the U.S. Eating the wrong food, eating processed food, and all that, and then leading to all the healthcare problems that lead to people disabled, lead people go to bankruptcy, making the life miserable, lost productivity, and have psychiatric illnesses from the physical illness to start with. But all this largely preventable by, again, going back to basics with healthy nutrition and healthy lifestyle away from all toxins.
Well, I think that sums it up pretty good. I hope that, inshallah, that folks were paying close attention and making some notes even. Because if you haven't shared this already, you should, because you don't know who might get a benefit from this program. And then, as Allah said in the Quran, and I'll let Doctor tell you about that, saving one life is like what?
Saving the whole entire humanity. This is very, very important. It's one of the verses that really shook me when I was trying to change, basically select a career and go into medicine as a noble profession, because this particular verse, if you save one life, like saving the entire humanity. And, now I think we could do a lot of good saving so many lives from so many chronic diseases and illnesses that will know for sure it will lead to demise and to all these devastation with losses, financial losses, emotional loss and stress and so on. And we could turn this around by adapting healthy lifestyle and healthy nutrition. And we talked about other things in addition to that, like intermittent fasting, like cutting the calories, getting the sugar out, getting all the toxic alcohol, marijuana, vaping, smoking, hookah, all this. And let's make it all a new beginning to really impact the health of a person and the persons around, and then the communities, and then globally in that sense, because it's all interconnected. When somebody smokes, the guy next door or next to him, although he's not smoking, but he'll get the same disease being a passive smoker. Same thing, if you don't put the mask on, you may affect the guy next door, and then so we all have to watch for each other. We all have to care for each other. We all have to have some sort of mercy and compassion towards each other. Muslims and non-Muslims all across the globe. This is about humanity, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, man ahyaha, save a life. It doesn't matter who it is, a life. Saving a life of a human being, like saving entire humanity.
MashaAllah. Dr. Sultan, I don't want to leave you out of this thing, but I would like for you to talk to us a little bit about, if you don't mind, about it's your favorite subject. You're talking about don't eat this and don't eat that, but do eat this. So give us those little acronyms again so that we can remember what we're supposed to do.
Very good.
The crap.
Yeah. The first one was get the crap out of your life. C stands for caffeine and chemicals added to preserving it. Okay. All right. Caffeine is the most wide drug addiction there is. Okay. R stands for refined carbohydrates and sugars. That's we talked all along. We were talking about. A stands for alcohol. No quantity of alcohol is safe for you. And P stands for processed foods first, and then the prescription drugs. So when you take care of these things, you are going to improve your health. Now, so Dr. Adil, you know, he's smarter than I am, you know. So after I told him about the crap, he said, no, don't get cramp, you know. I said, what the hell? The man, M is in there, you know. He said, marijuana. That's that you're 100% right. Now, instead of crap, try to use cramp. Don't get cramp. So
CRAMP.
Yeah, see, like a Chinese, you know, CRAMP.
I found the one that you have for crap, the CRAP.
Yeah.
I did find
This
that.
is a modified version.
Yeah, this is Dr. Adil's version, and it is copyrighted and has not been released as yet for the press, for the public consumption.
Well, it says here, I'm looking at the one I'm
review.
showing everybody right now. It says carbonated drinks, refined sugars, artificial food, processed food. Now, we could call it cramp. Cramp means that you added the word marijuana to it because...
Exactly. Okay, so that's one acronym I like. And the second thing, I like how to educate people how to eat healthy. When we talk so much about what the bottom, eat what will rot, and do it before it does. Eat what will rot and do it before it does. Means fresh meats, fruits, vegetables, green beans, no additive, no preservative. Don't think about hamburger, pies, and fries. Think of meats, fruits, vegetables. Prepare the food yourself from scratch, and that is the healthiest food for you. Another thing, you see, we got so many chemicals in our environment, and people do not think about using Lysol, Pine Sol, and other cleaning bleaches, and so many other products at home. Contain the outlet plug, you know, for as a deodorizer, and so on and so forth. All these chemicals are toxic chemicals, and this is my rule of about avoiding chemicals: is do not breathe what you cannot eat. Do not breathe what you cannot eat. What happens if you drink Lysol, Pine Sol, or gasoline? You're going to be very, very sick. So you should not be inhaling those things. Instead, at home, you should use unscented products, and the products that are more green or environment-friendly chemicals. I will just give you an example, like the cleaning thing. Why you want to use perfumed soap? Use unperfumed soap like Ivory soap, okay? Why do you want to use Lysol and Pine Sol? You can use baking soda, washing soda. You can use salt and water, vinegar and water to clean glasses, and so many other things. So simple, borax, you can use. So these are simple, common sense things that people really don't think, and it becomes a cause for chronic problem. Dr. Adil was talking about all these things we're doing is to prevent disease. Well, that's good. Yes, that's right. But you know what? If you treat the underlying causes, even if you have established disease, what's the big deal if you have arthritis? What's the asthma? What's the big deal if you got sinus problem? What's the big deal if you got chronic fatigue? As long as you look for the underlying cause and treat the cause, then you can reverse disease. Prevention is a simple, smaller part of the whole thing, but reversing disease is much more practical and much more desirable. You see, we always talk about.
You mentioned something earlier about the breathing the air in your house.
Yeah.
Now you said that. What were the things? I'd like to put this up again.
Sure. I said,
bleach.
Do not breathe what you cannot eat.
Yeah. What are the things again? Bleach.
Yeah,
I'm trying to put
Lysol.
it up on the screen so that
Okay.
it will match up with what you're saying.
Okay. Do not breathe what you cannot eat. For example, Lysol, pine sol, bleach, gasoline. So if you cannot breathe, if you cannot eat, then you should not be breathing them either. So that gives you the point to think that I should start thinking green. I should use green products and which are environment friendly, do not pollute our environment, do not toxify our environment. So those are, and I gave you a few examples. There's a whole list of things, the thing for which people use, but just as simple things people can start using and thinking about perfumes and all the other stuff. Perfumes smells good to other people, but yet for others it is quite toxic. You see. Yeah.
Wow, mashallah, that is a lot for us to think about. You're telling us basically that the things that we are using every day in putting it in the air, that we shouldn't have that in the air. Now, how serious is this? I want to get down to that. Is that serious or?
Okay, let me ask that question from the audience, because you see, this is a matter of sensitivity. Everyone is not affected to the same degree. So I would like among the it's running out of time, but I'll give you the question tomorrow. You can try to answer the question.
We have a phone call.
chemical-
We have a phone call. It's exciting.
Okay.
Oh, answer the phone.
Okay, well,
Answer
they're
the
telling
phone.
us we
have
got to
a phone
wrap it
call.
all up. I guess,
The phone is ringing. We have a phone call.
yeah,
We
we're going to
a
have
phone-
to put an end to this, but we can continue tomorrow, inshallah.
Yes.
So everybody stay tuned right here to Guidus TV, and be sure that you share these programs so that other people can get the benefit as well. And until tomorrow night, Tuesday night, we have Mondays and Tuesdays. We'd like to do this. So until then, everybody stay tuned and stay guided with
Guidus
Guidus
TV.
TV.
Yusuf Estes. And I'm looking for something. Actually, I'm looking for someone. Is that someone you? I want Dawah partners. And you can be my Dawah partner right now. It's real easy. Just go to dawahpartners.com, sign up, and join me. There are 3 things that I would like for you to be able to do. Any one of them or all of them. Beautiful. Number 1, you will make dua. So you can be our Dawah partner, even if you don't go to the website, but I hope you do. Number 2, share. Share this message and let other people know about becoming Dawah partners. And number 3, help us financially. Donate on a monthly basis, even if it's small. Allah loves the thing that you do regularly, even if it's small, more than the thing that you do that's really big, but you only do it once. Join me as a Dawah partner. Do it now. Click, 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 click.